KindaSound Radio. We're tuning in to change.
Welcome to the KindaSound Astrology Update with me, Stella Grace. Happy Friday and happy eclipse season. My goodness, we've got some big astrology in the next few weeks. We are in eclipse season already, but I'm going to cover that in next week's show. It's going to be a big one. It's exciting. So on the 22nd, next Friday, join me again and we will get into all of the eclipse energy. It's big energy. It's transformation and it's huge, and it's a portal that we are going to start covering next week. So I'm really looking forward to that. Today, we've got a beautiful energy to kick off with as well, with our topic, the new beginnings of the spring equinox. This is just stunning energy. This is New Year energy. I love this. So I'm here every Friday. We get to do this every Friday at 10, and it's replayed on the Saturday at 10. And we cover the topic, an astrology topic each week. And then we go on to the astrological weather for the week with an update. So we're going to get into that after our topic today as well. And then finish with any questions that the listeners want to have. So if you have a question, please feel free to drop it in and I will answer your astrology question as best I can within the show, or if I don't get to it within the show, if we run out of time, I will come back to it next week. So feel free to get your astrology question in and we will get it answered in this show or the next. Looking forward to that. So what an absolutely beautiful energy to kick off the show today with, and to kick off this weekend thinking about the new beginnings of spring equinox imminently approaching. So on the 20th of March, the spring equinox is a point of time, but it has an energy residue around the days prior and the days after. So we have the exact time in the UK of 3:06 a.m. on the 20th this year. It does slightly change year to year. But for our global listeners, of course, in the Southern Hemisphere, they will be going into their autumn equinox. So while we here in the Northern Hemisphere are coming out of hibernation, looking towards spring and summer and the new beginnings and the increased light and growth and abundance, we've got our our Southern Hemisphere listeners wintering down, getting ready to take stock for the hibernation of autumn and winter ahead. So it's just interesting to note that polarity. Traditionally, and in line with the seasonal wheel of the year, spring equinox represents a time of renewal, fertility, and rebirth. It's very much a new beginning. And to me, it's the new year. To me, it's the organic new year, because what an amazing time for a new year. We've got spring and nature just coming to life now and increased daylight hours. So the equinox itself means equal day and night hours. And then we're going into that increasing with the summer, towards the summer solstice. It's like a birthing again of nature's life cycle. Traditionally, at spring equinox, crops are sown and farmers begin preparation for the coming season of produce, for the growth ahead, and for the looking towards the summer months of abundance and the growth that is there. So it's a really beautiful time of looking ahead at this abundant time that we're just beginning with spring. We're at the beginning of the new astrological year. And as I said, to me, this is so much more in alignment with traditional and organic New Year's energy. New Year's Day on the 1st of January in our linear calendar actually feels really terrible timing for me for New Year's energy, because we're still in the middle of winter then. We're wintering, we're in our hunkering down mode, replenishing energy, slowing down, taking stock of our, more limited resources with that limited daylight in those deep winter months. And it's not a natural time for planting new intentions or planting seeds. Instead, we've had this notion for years gone by that New Year's resolutions starts on January the 1st. And I think that's it's a real linear calendar thing. So to think about, the difference here of our kind of man-made time system with that calendar. And if we think to the more organic calendar of the seasonal wheel of the year, this is a new beginning. A new year is starting, and that is very much reflected in nature and based upon natural cycles. So we've got this other element of I'm going to invite us actually at this point to reframe the kind of, to me, the outdated version of New Year's resolutions. And actually, I invite us now to think about our New Year's creations from spring equinox onwards, because this real sense of, it's quite ironic to me. We have the January the 1st resolutions, where it's often a term of what do we need to give up? What do we need to do more of? What have we not done well enough? You know, there's almost that stick to beat yourself with New Year's resolutions. And I want to reframe that today, and invite us to think about what we want to create. You know, so this isn't about beating ourselves. Particularly, it's interesting timing with January the 1st resolutions right after the excess of and the consumerism of Christmas, and how we kind of, many of us have that real excess period there and then kind of need to pull it back with January resolutions. And I just think that cycle's, you know, not really serving us. So we've got this beautiful opportunity here with spring equinox to look at what we're creating and what we're wanting to bring in for the new year ahead. It's a great time to plant seeds of all kinds, you know, and with planting those intentions, then how we nurture them, how we're growing them, how we're watering them, to watch them come into fruition over the coming months and the coming new year. So I really invite you to have a think in these few days coming up to spring equinox, and over the spring equinox would also be a great time to do it, to look at this process. Now, to me, we also have a real opportunity to look at, with that, the completion of the previous year. So whilst we're going into the new year, we also want to tie up any loose ends. And to me, that's crucial for a really successful new beginnings, for a really successful creation process. We want to have made space. So it'd be a great time to just tie up any loose ends with the completion of Pisces energy and moving into the new beginnings and the new year of Aries. So Pisces, the completion of that last astrological year cycle, what is calling you to, you know, take any closure on, to have a clear out physically or emotionally with, you know, so you can ultimately make space for your new creations to grow. That's, you know, really what we want to do. We can't plant new seeds on old ground or, you know, unfertile ground. So is there anything that we're needing to clear out and make space for the new to come in? It's a really beautiful time for doing that. And I would say crucial in having space to make really solid, fertile ground for bringing in the new. In line with the new beginnings and this creative energy that you are bringing in, we want to think about what brings a spring in your step. We've got that lovely, you know, connotation of a spring in your step physically with this energy, and, you know, the real essence of it, because actually we can feel it. We can feel the energy of spring. It's a lighter energy we have to work with right now. It's beautiful and it's absolutely perfect for manifesting and creating tangibly that which we wish to see more of in our lives. The zodiac sign change, as I just touched on the 21st, will be from Pisces to Aries at very close to the equinox point. And this is really helping us with the creative process in this shift, because bringing that completion energy will help us to bring into the dynamism of the Aries new beginning, which propels us into the new. We are able to think about the organic cycle and the season of the year with goddess energy. Gods and goddesses in a traditional sense are associated with all the significant points of the wheel of the year. And so, as we said, spring equinox meaning equal light and day hours, and that moving forward to increasing. And so the spring equinox is associated with the goddess Ostara. And we can see how over the years that name has been changed over time to Easter. And actually, what the goddess Ostara is associated with is the bringing of light, the bringing of warmth, because it's that increased sunshine. And she's associated with birds and butterflies and nature and fertility. And there's a beautiful old story about Ostara, also known as the goddess of the dawn, bringing forth spring. And in summary, one interpretation, there's many interpretations and I'm sure changes of these stories over time, but one that I found that was really beautiful is that the story has been told that the goddess Ostara came across an injured and dying bird with an injured wing, unable to fly. And with her light and her kindness, she befriended and healed the bird, transforming it into a hare, which is how we now know Easter to be associated with the Easter Bunny. And this was really interesting to me because I thought, yeah, how actually are bunnies associated with eggs? Because they don't lay eggs, but birds do, and that's the connect. One of the connections it's believed to be is the egg is what the bunny, the hare, brings Ostara as a gift of appreciation every Easter, every spring. The bunny will bring eggs as a thank you and as an appreciation to Ostara for transforming the bird into its more healed state of the hare. And the eggs are a gift of generosity for her kindness. And I think that's just a really beautiful message of the power of kindness and love to heal and to bring light. And on that note, we're going to have our first song choice with classic Candy Staton and The Source, and You've Got the Love.
KindaSound Radio, the station for a global community.
Welcome back to the KindaSound Astrology Show with me, Stella Grace. We've been talking about all things spring equinox and the beautiful energy of goddess Ostara. We are going to kick things off again, thinking about that increased light from the sun, the transformation that this will bring, and the increasing light as we look ahead towards those summer months and a time of more abundance coming. We see with Ostara the emergence of flowers, nature coming to life again after the winter months. And this links nicely into our astrological weather for the update this week, because with the spring equinox, we always have the time of Aries imminently beginning the new cycle of the zodiac wheel. And this energy is very much depicted and likened to the first shoot bursting out of the seed. So if we imagine the energy that takes for the propelling force of that new shoot to first break through that seed shell is quite a big propelling expansion of energy. And that really sums up the energy of Aries beginning the new life. On the zodiac wheel, it's actually depicted as the birth of a new baby. It's the very beginning of the life cycle and the astrological year, and all of the zodiac wheel actually is reflective of a whole life cycle. So with the birth of a new baby with Aries, all the way round and all of the stages and ages in between until Pisces is the afterlife and that completion. So we're just coming out of that completion phase, a whole life cycle, and now beginning a new one. So we have themes of big impetus energy, big drive, fearlessness, courage, an ability to step up and step out. Energy from Aries and this big impetus really knows how to lead. So it really can activate and support the leaders within us where we're needing to be more or wishing to be more fearless and courageous and really step out and speak out and shine and take on that really forthright energy, that assertive energy. It's a really good time to utilize this confidence from the sun at the moment. The sun going into Aries is a really confident time, and it gives us that brave energy within ourselves and across all of our endeavors. It's the absolute best time for launches, anything new projects getting underway, and any areas that need more dynamism in starting things, because Aries is absolutely great at starting things. Now, we want to think about the longevity of that. So when we're thinking about planting our seeds and planting our intentions and manifesting them, we want to think about not only planting them and getting very clear, because we've cleared out the previous year, we've cleared out anything we're no longer needing, We know what we want to leave behind, and we know what we want to bring in more of. And we also look towards the earth as well to support the growth of it. So Aries is the fire of new beginning, of new starts, of the impetus. But we also want to look at how we're nurturing that so that it doesn't just burn out and fizzle out. We want it to be sustainable. So when we're planting our seeds of manifestation, we also need to look at this point. It's great to look at the point that we're starting from as to how that's going to be sustainable. Because Aries energies love to get things started, but we look towards the the more earthy, practical nature of the Taurus energy that will be coming up ahead to get things really grounded in and tangible and in this earth realm. Aries is depicted by the ram, and it can be felt as that really assertive and initiating energy. It's ruled by the planet Mars, and this is in keeping with dominating drive that Aries energy and Mars energy kind of displays. It's more of a masculine energy, remembering that all the planets and all the signs have a different masculine or feminine attribute. And of course, there's masculine and feminine attributes within each of us. That's why we can relate to all of the planets, and we have all of the planets and the signs within us in some capacity. So with Mars and with Aries energy, we're looking at more of a masculine essence to all of our endeavors, whether we're male or female. So we've got this kind of dominating drive with Mars and Aries energy, and that's more in contrast. It's not like a going with the flow. It's like a getting things done and putting yourself out there. We also want to make sure we're tempering that with a good balance of outletting these pioneering energies without impulsiveness. So as we said, we want to take the grounded approach and look at how we're planting our seeds that will be in a sustainable way of them developing in our lives later. We want to make sure we're utilising the action in positive ways rather than flare-ups or, getting into friction of some kind with that fire energy. We want to really utilise it for getting things going in positive ways. The shadow side, if you like, on the spectrum of the signs and the zodiac energies, the shadow side can tend towards bossiness with the sun in Aries and Mars energy. And this has the potential, we could get quite caught up in our own self and our own views, because it can be that quite dominating forthright energy if it's left unchecked. So we're talking about the shadow side here, or a spectrum of energies on a sign that's left unchecked. Of course, with awareness, with our self-inquiry, with our observation, with our reflection, we get to choose to, show up in a higher way or in a more thought about way. And so, we can really think about how we are approaching things in Aries energy, because if we think back to, we were discussing about the new life cycle of the Aries energy and the baby being born, we think that the energy there it's almost quite self-absorbed, because the baby is just, all it's aware of is itself and the basic drives and what it's needing in the moment. So we can see that almost quite self-absorbed energy, because it's just that basic energy. It's not complicated, it's just direct, it's just what it's needing and what it's doing, and that's it. But of course, with awareness and with expansion and reflection, we get to look at the wisdom beyond those basic drives of the physical self, and look at how we want to adopt the propulsion energy of moving forward with awareness and foresight. Because we've got that trailblazing leader type energy who knows how to get things done and started with gusto and true bravery. Aries is really a sign of true bravery. It's that straightforwardness and directness as well. So it's without complication, we can get things done. It's a real just do it approach this week and for the month ahead with the sun in Aries. And it's a great time for motivation and banishing procrastination. It's a really good time for just a real just do it approach. It's a good time for activity and exercise, and keeping our body looked after and utilizing our bodies in a way that we want to, that supports us, that helps us to again gain energy and gain movement. And it's just a really good drive energy. We think about, how we want to get things moving forward. And on that note, we've got the iconic Drive by Incubus.
KindaSound, tuning in for change.
Welcome back to the KindaSound Astrology Update with me, Stella Grace. We've been talking about the beauty of spring equinox, new beginnings, and Aries time with the sun in Aries. We're going to have a think now about Aries ruling planet carrying on with our update. And Aries is ruled by Mars. So let's have a look at what Mars is doing this week. Now, Mars is actually changing signs on the 22nd. So it's a busy day, or it's a busy few days around the spring equinox with the other planetary aspects that are going on. And Mars, as we've said, is, a planet of drive. It's a planet of moving things forward. It's getting things done. It's a just do it energy. But it's moving signs into Pisces. And so Pisces is softening Mars this week amongst all that propulsion energy and all that moving forwards. Pisces is bringing Mars a bit more of a softer touch. So in that respect, it'd be a really great time to still move forward with things, but it's bringing a touch of gentleness, healing, compassion. So it'd be a really great time to begin any spiritual or emotional pursuits, healing journeys, healing activities, anything that considers a deepening of within oneself or within the collective. So anything that requires an altruistic approach or thoughts about how we're supporting ourselves and the collective is really supported by Mars in Pisces energy this week. And looking at the next aspect of the update, Mars's counterpart and Venus, over the 20th and 21st, she is conjunct with Saturn in Pisces. So the conjunction is a close relationship, the two planets blending their energies together. And so the energies of Venus and Saturn together is like a harmonious touch on our boundaries and structures. And equally, in return, Saturn offers some solidity to the feminine flow of Venus in Pisces that ultimately wants to bring healing and beauty to the whole world. And so Saturn will support the structure and the tangible elements that are required to bring healing and beauty into form. So they support each other, in quite a contrasting way, but it adds this nice harmonious touch to our structures. It would be a really good time as well, linking in back to the spring equinox creation energy of, thinking about our daily habits that support ourselves, rethinking about our values, because that's Venus energy as well. And Saturn really supports us to get things done and to stick at things. So it would be a really good time for implementing, a healing practice, for example, or whatever brings you joy and whatever really activates your own inner Venus, which is about our relationship with ourselves and others and how we experience harmony. To wrap up the update now, we've got on the 21st, we've got Mercury and Chiron are conjunct. So at the same time as all of this equinox energy and everything else we've discussed, we've got a time of conversations and thinking being really supported about our healing and our deepest wounds that are ultimately going to assist us for moving forwards with our growth, because it's Chiron energy. So we've got Chiron, the wounded healer of the zodiac, who knows how to alchemize from life's adversities. And this energy being synergized by Mercury, which is our thoughts and our ideas and our communication, we can really get a handle in our thoughts and our talking about our wounds and our growth from them. So it'd be a really great time to maybe begin some kind of therapy if that resonated, if there was anything that was niggling or coming up, or it could be something like life coaching. Now, we've got our lovely Laureen Triquet on KindaSound, who she did the last Gifts Within Adversity show with me, actually, and she has a regular show just after the Gifts Within Adversity on a Friday that it's about transforming. You know, she's a transformational life coach, and that's a really good example to the link of Chiron and Mercury together, because it doesn't have to necessarily look like sitting down and ploughing over all of your adversities, unless that's what you're feeling called to do, you know, in which case fine. But it doesn't have to look like going over old wounds. It can look like something transformative, because we want to take that adversity, take the wisdom from it, take the healing from it, and see how that can gift us something for moving forward. And often in those gifts, we can also support others in some way by how we're healing, either by role modeling that healing or physically supporting someone else from a more healed place ourselves. So it's an interesting time as well to consider, you know, any pain points that are coming up, and if they are niggling you, how we can bring wisdom from them into our life for moving forward. So we're going to finish with a quick question now, where we've had Lucy get in touch. Thank you, Lucy, for your question, which was, how do I work with my north and south nodes? Now, with this, Lucy, I'm going to redirect you back to one of our previous podcasts on KindaSound that you can find on kindasound.org/podcast on the North and the South nodes, which goes into much more detail there about that fascinating topic. But just to finish on and to summarize, the South node is it's our wisdom, it's information we've come in with. It's very much, it can be quite a comfort zone because we're very comfortable in that deep knowledge. So the sign that our south node in, it often points to what we're good at, what we know about, what we're very comfortable in. And we want to take that wisdom in a nutshell and direct it into our true north, or our north node, and where our destiny is mapped out. So the sign that our north node is in, they're always on an opposite axis. And the north node is where we are pointing to, so to speak. So we take our wisdom from the south of what we know with our south node, and we take it into the unknown, which can be the true north and where we're moving to. So that's a bit of a nutshell on that, but I hope you'll enjoy the podcast on that one. Podcasts are available on Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, Audible, many places, and you can find all of those links on the KindaSound website. I've got some very exciting news to mention, actually, just quickly. We're beginning a Patreon membership soon. I'm really looking forward to being a part of that. We've got some absolutely amazing exclusive content coming up for those who wish to join our Patreon membership. Look out for more details, because we'll all be sharing a bit more about that soon, and be able to get you signed up if you're interested in that. But it will be an abundance of exciting and exclusive content that you will have access to, regular webinars and panels and resources. So we're really looking forward to getting that launched very soon, and we hope that you'll be a part of it if that resonates with you. So we'll keep you posted there. I hope you'll also stick around now for the Gifts Within Adversity. I'm back at 11, so not long from now I'll be back with my lovely guest on the Gifts Within Adversity, Michelle Blamey. She's a beautiful singer and songwriter. I'm really looking forward to talking to her. We get the treat of her live performance and some of her tracks as well. And we'll be talking about the universal language of music to uplift all. Just a stunning topic. And I'm really looking forward to a live music special there at 11 with me, Stella Grace. Otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you next week on the Astrology Update, Friday at 10, when we'll be talking more about the eclipse season. Looking forward to that. Much love.